All right, welcome back to the channel. It's been a few days. It's been a few days. So if you're catching this after the live, of course, right now there's no one on the live. But if you're catching this after, I guess you're early. But I want to say if you're catching this on the day before Thanksgiving, whether live or not, happy Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving, however you want to say it, right? Um, we'll talk about a few things because I haven't been here since the last live, and also since the Ring Four, big event. Which let's touch base on that real quick. I didn't expect Devin Haney to do what he did, so Devin Haney gets a lot of problems. He's trying to fight Rolly Romero next, which I think makes a world of sense. And if Devin and if the Haney's want to put it up against or at the same card as Ryan Garcia when he fights Mario Barrios, and Ryan were to get past Barrios, that's the smartest thing you could possibly do, because if Haney beats Rolly and Ryan beats Barrios, bro, you could have a pretty big fight down the road. I think that's the one to make. So hopefully that happens. David Benavidez, my God, David Benavidez le dio una pela a Yard que yo no, bueno, yo dije, retírate, mijo, que esa pela que te dieron fue una de las para los siglos, que qué sé yo qué carajo. So David Benavidez, impresionante. Dice que va en 5 de mayo contra Zuldo Ramírez. So I was surprised at that announcement with Zuldo Ramírez fight. Not that he's fighting Zuldo Ramirez, I guess, but that is so soon. That's maybe what it is. Because, pero Tim Bradley y otros dicen que por qué no quiere contra Vivol, que no quiere contra Better Beef, David Benavidez quiere unificar, coger títulos, y Vivol tiene casi todos los títulos y quiere hacer la trilogía con Better Beef, so he's not going to be. He wants a trilogy, Bivol, with Better Beef, because that's the easier fight. Why would you fight David Benavidez? I think but Bivol can maybe outbox Benavidez, but I don't think he could outbox him for 12 rounds and keep him honest for 12 rounds. I think Benavidez catches up to Bivol and punishes him, and maybe doesn't knock him out, but maybe just beats him up for 7 rounds, right? So Abdullah Mason, diablo, qué clase de campeón joven tenemos en Abdullah Mason. I'm really happy for Abdullah Mason. Hold on, man. This thing fell, and I need it from my hand, and I don't know where the hell it went. Oh well. I don't know where it went. I got this thing from my hand because I got carpal tunnel, and I don't know where in God's name it went. It flew off when I turned on my fan. Anyway, Abdullah Mason, un chamaquito jovencito, se enfrentó contra un hombre de 28 años invicto, y ese hombre no se quería rendir y lo partió un poco a la cara, le partió la cara un poco a Abdullah. Abdullah siguió para adelante. ¿Qué campeón joven tenemos? I wish Abdullah the best. I really want to see Abdullah, get into his bag and defend that championship. So that's really for what I came for Abdullah, for the Ring 4. It was a great night. Tremenda noche. Me encanta. Oh, and Manny Pacquiao's son this weekend. Yeah. This is it. This weekend? Yeah, I think it's this weekend. Makes his pro debut. Well, Junior. His other son is already fighting. This is Junior. So he looks more like Manny than the other guy. I guess that's the whole thing. And I guess the other Pacquiao was out of wedlock or something, and they don't acknowledge him. Yo no sé por qué carajo. But that's really what's going on there with Junior. Let me fix this up up here. I need to get my details right, because when I'm trying to do this live thing and it's bothering me that I can't see certain things. Anyway, okay, here we go. I'm fixed up now. But yeah, so let's talk about. Okay, vamos a hablar sobre SUBRIEL Matias, right? And like I said, if you're catching this live after, great. And if you're catching it now for SUBRIEL Matias alive, welcome. And I want to also say, if you're new here, thank you for stopping in and choosing this live video. And if you're also a subscriber, thank you for the continued support. Please like, share, send this out to your friends. But let's talk about SUBRIEL Matias and the whole New York State Athletic Commission and the latest update about what's happening with SUBRIEL Matias. I think there's a miscommunication and misinformation being given out by, again, reputable channels. Hay información que están dando por ahí, por las redes, que no es correcta. It's not correct. It's not correct information. And it frustrates me to no end. Primero, déjame decir, yo quiero que Subriel Matías defienda su título en enero 10, el 10 de enero. That's what I want. I want him to fight. I want him to go on and for everything to just blow over and it's fine and we go and we got to fight. Okay. That's number one. So if you're thinking that I'm here to hate on Matias and I don't want, no, that's not the case. I deal with facts. Yo deal con lo que es factual, lo que está, los datos que están, o sea, confirmados. So I deal with that. I don't deal in fantasy. I'm not in a fantasy world. I'm not in some, I hope, and then maybe it's going to be true if I say this like this. No. Here's the fact. Subriel Matias has not been confirmed to have been cleared officially by anyone. So he hasn't, the New York State Athletic Commission has not officially made a statement. I looked for an official statement by the New York State Athletic Commission. Yo he buscado por algo oficial de NYSAC. Nada. Okay, that's number one. Ha ido para las redes donde Mike Coppinger. So Mike Coppinger was the first one to break the story that he actually, tested positive. And I went to his Instagram. He hasn't updated anything. You would think if it broke, Mike Coppinger would be the first guy to report it because he was the first guy to report it for the Ring magazine. Él fue el primero que hizo todo esto. Y si hubiera algo que él tuviera para decir, ya lo hubiera dicho. That's another thing. Nada. There's nothing there. Okay, so there's no information from the New York State Athletic Commission. There's no information from Mike Coppinger or ESPN or anywhere else. Even Ring Magazine doesn't have any articles that say Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith fight is happening still. I'll show you what it actually says. I'm going to show you. Te lo voy a enseñar lo que en realidad dice el Ring Magazine y esa historia con todo. Porque recently, they updated the story 2 hours ago. 2 horas atrás, hicieron un update en la revista electrónica. Y bueno, ahí dicen lo que en realidad está todavía sucediendo. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. So, you know what? Let's just look at that shit right now. Vamos a mirar eso ahora. So, let's go to right here. Right? So, let's go. Here it is. Ringside Revelations, latest boxing news. Subriel Matias stands firm, proclaims innocence of a failed drug test. So dice que Matias dice que no, él nunca ha hecho trampa, él se va con eso hasta que se muera. And I believe him. I believe that he is telling the truth. So there's no lies told there. But esta historia, este artículo lo escribió hace 2 horas atrás Hans Themistode del Ring Magazine. Subriel Matias believes that his faith in the man above will work in his favor, que el Señor le va a enseñar al mundo que él es inocente. The Ring's number 2 ranked welterweight turned adverse analytical finding for Ostarine, stemming his November 9th VADA drug test distributed by New York State Athletic Commission. It says here VADA drug test distributed. Okay. I don't know how this is. Yo no sé que esto está correcto, pero okay, vamos a seguir. The amount from the system, however, was below allowed level of 0.1 nanograms per milliliter. Matias' levels came in at a 0.085. Upon hearing the news, Matias took to social media to proclaim his innocence. So cuando Matias se enteró de que los niveles de él están más abajo de lo que la regla dice del estado de Nueva York, que pueden pelear, pues dijo, estoy inocente, compré su boleto, vamos por el frente. O posiblemente Matías tiene otra información detrás de la cortina que no sabemos. Okay, maybe there's some behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about that Matías knows, and that's why he proclaimed his innocence. The day I try to cheat, I become nothing in my life. Matías said on his Instagram, God is faithful, blessings. Matías was vindicated, but he's not necessarily out of the woods yet. The current ability behold is scheduled to return January 10th. Those plans, of course, were in jeopardy, blah, blah, blah. Matías has been cooperative. La comisión dice que él está cooperando con ellos. The New York State Athletic Commission is aware that Matías, who is currently licensed, has received adverse analytical finding, blah, 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 blah. So, aquí está todo. Todavía, aquí dice, should Matías be found guilty, he could suffer the same fate as Ryan Garcia. So, nada más en realidad lo que ha dicho la comisión es que él está, los niveles están más abajo de lo que, ¿sabes? De lo que ellos dicen que es un positivo. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing. Okay? Again, I want him to actually fight. So I'm just pointing out the truth. Okay, so that's the truth. There's no article as of right now. And if you guys, what you're watching or whatever, please link it down below. Let me know. I want to hear it. Quiero ver si ustedes encuentran algo oficial fuera de este Ring Magazine o en el New York State Athletic Commission website. Déjenme saber y yo lo reporto aquí. But right now we have nothing. Okay? Otra cosa que están diciendo los canales que están equivocados. Another thing that the channels are saying that is wrong. It's not true. Is that, and hear me out, y fue un canal, bueno, medio grande del boxeo que lo dijo. It was a channel, kind of big in the Puerto Rican world of boxing. Said that the WBC and WADA have no voice, que no tienen voz, la CMB y WADA en este tema, que la comisión dijo que va a pelear y va a la pelea y vamos por frente. Ok, no hay confirmación todavía de eso, primero que nada. Segundo, la CMB es una organización privada. No tiene que adherir a ninguna regla que le proponga el Estado de Nueva York. Ellos no tienen que seguirle a ellos en nada. So, they don't have to adhere to any rules set by New York State Athletic Commission. WBC could literally say tomorrow, I applaud the New York State Athletic Commission saying that it is below the standard that they have. But our standard is that no Ostarine is allowed. WADA says no Ostarine. We say no Ostarine. SUBRIEL Matias proved that it is contamination, but since we say it's no threshold, then we have to pull the title. Ellos pueden decidir que no darle el título, dejárselo a Matías. Porque las reglas de ellos mismos, ellos tienen un programa. La CMB tiene un programa de anti-doping. Ellos mismos tienen un programa. Y ese programa dice que los niveles de Ostarine es cero. No puede tener nada, absolutamente nada. Si ellos quieren y deciden que no quieren que él defienda ese título en el 10 de enero, ellos pueden sacarle el título. Diciendo que el CMB, la CMB no tiene voz en estos recursos, no es correcto. It's not correct. You're telling people the wrong thing. They're not a government agency. The WBC doesn't actually, has any health, like in the federal health program, nothing. They're not federal. They're private. They don't work for anyone outside of themselves. So if they want to pull their title that they're loaning the fighter, ellos le están prestando ese título a todos sus campeones. Eso los pueden quitar por cualquier razón que ellos digan que se lo pueden quitar. So to say that the WBC has no power to pull the title is so wrong on so many levels. These channels have to do their research. I'm not saying that he won't fight. Tomorrow we could all wake up and he's fighting because the WBC says we're going to follow New York. And they can do that. But to say, one, that it's official, and two, that the WBC has no voice in the matter is wrong. It's not right. That's not the truth. Eso no es la verdad. Que digan que no tienen voz. Y porque vamos a suponer que estén correctos mañana y lo dejen que peleen la CMB, tampoco quiere decir que estaban diciendo la verdad. That doesn't mean also that if tomorrow we wake up and the WBC says, yeah, we're going to go with New York State Athletic Commission findings and let them fight, doesn't mean that you were right and that they have to follow the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission. They don't. They're a private agency. They don't have to do anything that anybody tells them to do. They're their own company. They set their own rules, their own standards. They can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. Okay. I want the WBC to go. I agree with the New York State Athletic Commission. And I want him to fight. Yo quiero que él pelee. Yo quiero que ellos sigan lo que dijo la Comisión de Nueva York. That's what I want him to do. Pero en ningún lugar han dicho todavía que eso es oficial y tampoco, otra vez le voy a decir, ellos no tienen que seguirle las reglas de otra gente para nada. Ellos tienen sus propias reglas. En las reglas de la WBC, la CMB y WADA dice, no importa los niveles, no hay nivel para nosotros, no debe de tenerlo. Pero hemos visto que han doblado las reglas para otros en la CMB. So maybe if they bend the rules for other fighters, that they'll bend the rules for SUBRIEL Matias in the same way, and he'll get his shot because that's only fair. Eso es lo único justo que hay. Si lo van a doblar para otros boxeadores, deben de hacerlo también para SUBRIEL Matias, porque dicen que la comisión dice que esos niveles también para ellos. So I want them to do that. But to report that it is good to go, that is official, and all that stuff, that is wrong. That is a lie. It's not true. Okay? It's not, no es verdad. No es, reportando esto es irresponsable para los que no saben y van y hablan para otra gente y le dicen a otra gente información que no es verdad. It's wrong, okay? It's wrong. So that's my soapbox. Hold on. Oh, Melissa, first of all, thank you for the last time. I didn't get to thank you. You actually were right about the levels of the New York State Athletic Commission because I was looking like an idiot at the SARMs one and didn't even realize that right above SARMs one it had endocrine below 1%, 0.1 milliliter, picogram, whatever it was, and you were right. But the WBC now, I want the WBC to actually let him fight. I want him. Yes, but that doesn't mean they have to. You understand? There's a difference. Hay una diferencia. Te voy a dar un ejemplo, right? Te voy a dar un ejemplo. Ok. So dice, las reglas de la CMB dice, WBC rules state the decision of local boxing commission shall never interfere with the power and authority of the WBC to grant or withhold sanctioning any contest as a WBC championship or elimination bout, or to recognize or withhold recognition of any boxer as a WBC champion or challenger. So, voy a hacer lo mejor que yo pueda traducirlo. Dice que la CMB, las reglas dicen que la decisión de cualquier comisión nunca jamás pueden bloquear el poder y autoridad de la CMB para darle o quitarle o quitarle las condiciones a cualquier pelea, ¿verdad? A cualquier pelea que van a defender un campeonato de la CMB o un combate de eliminar para el título de la CMB. Y también, encima de eso, no pueden decirle quién puede reconocer como un campeón o, como te digo, un challenger. Eso es lo mejor que yo te puedo hacer en español. So, otra vez diciendo, por decir, la CMB no tiene que seguir las reglas de nadie. They don't have to follow the rules of anybody. They can literally do whatever they want. Okay? And each have their own rules. Let people sport. Right. No. Melasa, you're right. They only care about the money. That's why they have the sanctioning fees. So you're right. So maybe we get lucky and they say, if I don't sanction this fight, we don't get a sanctioning fee. And I rather collect a sanctioning fee than no sanctioning. You understand? So yeah, you're right. But again, I'm not arguing the fact that they're gonna let him fight or that he's gonna fight. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing today is the same thing I was arguing last time. Lo que yo estoy peleando por hoy, lo mismo de la última vez, es que están dando información que no es correcta. diciendo que la CMB no tiene voz en esta decisión no es verdad. It's not the truth. The WBC could do whatever the hell they want. They're a private company. They don't need to follow anybody in their rules. I just read it out loud for those of you who didn't see it. Just rewind real quick, and I read them for you in English and Spanish, the best Spanish I could do. And it tells you no commission should interfere. It says it clear as day. There's no commission that could tell them what to do. No hay ninguna comisión que le pueden decir a la CMB qué tienen que hacer. Because they're not part of the government. No son parte del gobierno de cualquier estado. Ellos son privados. They're private. They're a business. Like Melasa said, they're a business. At the end of the day, they do whatever the hell they want. They're not adhering to anybody's laws as far as what fights they let a champion take part of. Okay? So, yeah, they could do whatever they want. It's their title. It's their title. And there's literally channels that a lot of us follow, including myself, and I, tend to say I respect, that are saying that the WBC has can't even say no. They're saying, oh no, the WBC can't even fight this decision, and they must let the fight go on. No, that's so wrong. That's not how this shit works. That's not how this works. Esto como no, eso así no trabaja nada con eso. It doesn't go that way, right? But like Melasa said, hopefully they realize that if they don't go, number one, it's going to be like a black eye, right? And two, they don't get any sanctioning fees. Because remember, para Canelo y para Oscar Valdez. So let me tell you what they did for Valdez. So for Valdez, he had a substance called phentermine, que eso te quita el apetito, eso es para perder peso. So, fuera de la pelea tú puedes tener tu sistema, pero cuando entras a la pelea no puedes tenerlo, right? So, he broke that rule. WADA said, hey, we acknowledge the commission's decision, to it said here the commission confirmed the commitment to allow the bout. So the commission said, okay, let's let the fight go, right? They let the fight go. WADA said, hey, you shouldn't do this because we have zero. WADA says it should be zero, and so does WBC. But the WBC said it conducted its own investigation to the clean boxing program while acknowledging the commission's decision. The WBC's panel determined that the positive findings still represented a violation. So, con Valdez, la CMB encontró que él violó la regla, pero no le quitaron el título. It says here the WBC did not pull the title and sanctioned the bout for the championship, but imposed a 12-month probationary period, mandatory nutrition programs, and required the champion to serve as a WBC ambassador, threatening an indefinite suspension for any future violations. So, esto es lo que puede suceder con SUBRIEL Matías. Dicen, mira, aunque tú lo cogiste intencionalmente, vamos a decir, what's up, Boots? So they could say, like they said, so they said, okay, look, Valdez, you were guilty. Same thing they could say to Matias, you were guilty, Matias, because we have a zero policy. But we're going to let you fight so we could collect our fee. But you're going to have to keep testing for 12 months. And if you say no to that, we'll take your title. That's it. That's what I think might be a part of what they're gonna do with Matias. They might say to Matias, "Hey, we're gonna sanction the fight. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna, defend the title. But after the fight, maybe 3 to 6 months after, you're gonna have to keep testing." Maybe that's what they say. What gets me mad is that the info should not be in the media, but some people with bad intentions let this out. Their intentions weren't to stop the match. Their intentions were to destroy the position. Absolutely, 100%, Melasa, eso es verdad. Yo creo en eso también. I believe that what you're saying is true. Yo, 100%, this right here. Let me show this right here. This right here, what Melasa said, I think is true. I think this is very true. I think once this happened, this information should have been 100% in behind closed doors until an investigation was done as quickly as possible, and then, released to the public and said the fight is on or off. Because if you remember, Eddie Hearn, as soon as he heard an adverse finding, he said, "Let's hurry up. Let's take this title. Let's while you do your investigation, we gotta get another fight going." Eddie Hearn took advantage. Eddie Hearn dijo, "Oh, diablo, está sucio. Ok, hagan su investigación, pero nosotros tenemos que ya estamos en campamento, que hay que hacer otras cosas, otros planes. Vamos a él quería que se lo quitaran rápido y él quería ponerle presión. Él no le puso, no quería. Él le puso presión a la comisión y a la CMB. He did put pressure on WBC and on the commission to get this investigation like underway quick, whatever, and make a decision to take his title. He wanted them to take the title because he wanted to take it back to the UK. So Eddie Hearn was trying his best to really take that fight away from Subriel Matias, and that's what you pay Eddie Hearn for. Si yo soy el boxeador y yo tengo un contrato con Eddie Hearn, eso es lo que yo quiero que mi promotor haga cuando oiga que esto sucedió. Que rápido se tire ahí y use su voz, su cara, su influence para que le ponga presión por si acaso le hacen un caso a él y dicen, oh, él tiene razón, vamos para allá, y le quiten el título a Subriel. That's what I want. As a fighter, that's what I want you. He did the right thing. I'm paying you for that. Yeah, I'm paying you. So let's go. I think Mauricio Suleiman knows better not to let this fight go on. Better not to not let this fight go on. Trust me, he know how strong the Boricua fan base is. It would be. And yo, Mauricio va a perder mucho weight, como le dicen a la gente. Si no le dejan que Subriel va a pelear enero 10. Subriel is going to fight January 10th. And he's going to defend his title. I think there's going to be a stipulation para después. So van a poner a estipular algo. Pero Boots, lo que yo digo, y estoy diciendo en este live, es que hay canales que están diciendo, there's channels that are saying that the WBC has no say and has to let him fight. That's wrong. They're a private company. They don't have to do shit that they don't want to do. End of story. Period. Don't spread false information. And also to say, to be promoting out there, the fight is on. What fight? Nobody has said the fight is on. Nobody has said this fight is on. This fight is gonna happen. Nobody's saying that yet. Subriel is saying it because I think he feels that he's gonna be able to fight. But I believe he's gonna fight. And I believe there might be like a small stipulation for him to defend it. And then, after the fight, yo creo que después de la pelea va a tener que hacer unas pruebas de sangre, orín, cosas así, blah, 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 blah. Y le van a maybe una multita, or I don't know, maybe, something like that. But at the end of the day, that's not what I'm even angry about. I'm like, stop spreading goddamn lies. And it's sad because I like these channels and they don't do the research, bro. I barely get 200-300 views, and I know how to research before I open my mouth. And when I'm wrong, like I did here, I told Malasa thank you in this one for actually in the last live saying something that was correct, and I just couldn't find it even though it was right in my face. I just didn't see it, and I bigged up to it in this one, in this live. But to tell me, because they told me directly with an emoji, like I'm stupid. Because I told them, I said, no, bro, you're wrong. Coppinger didn't say that. Coppinger never said the fight is on. Coppinger nunca dijo que la pelea está para ir enero 10. Él dijo que posiblemente sí la van a dejar ir. Pero no. Tú sabes, ¿entienden? Y ellos dicen que, y la gente está diciendo ahora, mira, le están brincando encima a Subriel. Aunque el volumen de Ostarine es bajo, de lo que dice Nueva York que puede tener, más abajo de ahí, los fanáticos ya están encima de él, los que están contra Subriel ya están encima de él. Ya el daño está hecho. The damage is done on Subriel in a sense already. You're absolutely correct. The sanctioning bodies do whatever they want with their titles. And it's the truth. Look what they did with Canelo. Look what they did with Canelo. Canelo, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. Nothing. Nothing. No, what I'm saying is that, no, Benasa, entiende. And understand. You could, Copenhagen, you stupid. it's not that whether he's credible or not. No es que si tú le crees a Coppinger o no. Eso no es lo que yo estoy hablando. Yo estoy diciendo, I'm saying, que la gente que están diciendo que la pelea va, está usando las palabras de Mike Coppinger, pero no las están leyendo correctamente. So they're using his words, but they're not listening. They're not reading what he's actually writing. Like they I don't understand what they don't understand. Like he didn't say anything about you know the fight is definitely no. He said could be, could go on, could happen. He never said it's on. So that's my whole deal. Don't lie to the public. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Boots, and I hope no, it doesn't matter, Malasa. That shit was hilarious that you called him Copenhagen, and from now on, I think I'm gonna call him Mike Copenhagen because that shit is hilarious on so many levels. You know, when something's so funny, you don't laugh at it. You just that's what I'm doing right now. To me, I find that hilarious that you call him Copenhagen, and that's what I'm gonna call him because Mike Copenhagen is hilarious. No, no, Melasa. Oh shit, Subriel. Yeah, yo, that's false information. Yeah, false information. False information. What's this here? I got another one here. Jesús Chávez, Subriel, que Jesús, cuidado, que eso no está confirmado, que él lo va a noquear. No, no venga diciendo información que no es correcta, because I'm gonna get. Listen, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, por favor, si ustedes conocen a esta gente, si alguno de ustedes tienen conexiones para esta gente de YouTube, que yo sí lo veo todos los días y los respeto, díganle por favor que Google es su mejor amigo. Google is your best friend. Google is best. And mind you, the only connection I got, yo, única conexión que yo tengo es alguien que yo conozco que está cerca de la Comisión de Nueva York, no del boxeo de la pelea, pero que conoce gente de la comisión. They know people in the commission. And I asked them, and they said, yeah, the commission more than likely will say the fight goes. But as you know, it doesn't matter. The WBC still has the final say. And that's the truth. First of all, wait a minute. Mike Boots. Why? I don't even know why. I don't even know why you show up to my lives, dog. Okay. So now Mike Cockinger. Listen, I hate both of y'all. I hate you and Melasa. Because at least Melasa was like, it had a double entendre involved in it. If y'all don't know what the fuck that is, I ain't going to explain it. And now you just got explicit with it. And I have to put a parental advisory sticker now on this live because you decided to put on Cockinger in the comments. And I highlighted it. So therefore now it's not for kids now. Thank you, Boots. Because now, you know, anyway. 95% of this channel repeats what Cesar said. Bro, I never said Cesar. What Melissa, what are you talking about? I never. Si tú dices que fue Cesar, then I'm just saying channels. Y hay más de uno. So, si tú quieres decir César, Ceda. Y bueno, y tampoco, Melissa, tampoco no te pongas bochinchero. Don't be out here spreading rumors. This is like the second video that I made correcting other YouTubers. This is not my content. You know my content, yo. It's prospects and Matias, basically, is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, saludos. Subió un video hablando, ¿lo viste? Yeah, él estaba hablando. Tú dices que él estaba diciendo que él no tiene que hacer, ¿sabes? Usar nada, que siempre ha sido limpio, se lo gana por el sudor. Si es ese Jesús, sí yo lo he visto. Pero si hay otro que recientemente él subió, no sé todavía. Bro, it's just like Cockinger, like why? It's still up, look, it's still right here. Look. Mike Cockinger, right there. I hope that it shames you. Is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it puts humility in you. That I had to put you right there, saying Mike Cockinger, and hopefully that shames you into being a better person. Boots. That's all I'm saying. Yo, what's up, Jose? Now, Jose, I'm just venting for the second time on a live about wrong information from better YouTubers than me. Um, ahora te entiendo. I think, Melasa, ya te entiendo. No, so Jose, so what's happening is, right, other YouTubers that are much more popular than I am and much better at this than I am, apparently, are spreading saying that the fight is definitely on, which it hasn't been announced. I'm saying that I think it's gonna happen, but it hasn't been officially announced. But they're saying it oficial, and also they're saying that the WBC and WADA have no say because the New York State Athletic Commission said that they're good. So therefore, now WBC has to let it go because the New York State Athletic Commission said it's good, and that's wrong because they don't have to do shit that they don't want to do. They don't adhere to any commission. They could take the title from Subriel. They could impose a sanction on Subriel. They could put terms to his title defense. They could do anything that they want because they are a private business and they don't have to do shit that they don't want to do. But they what eats me up inside is that they're telling me to my face, like if I'm stupid, like like oh yeah, they have to do it. No, they don't have to do shit. Like they don't have to do nothing. It's their title. They're a private organization. They don't work for the government. They don't give a shit. Like if they say, "Oh, I want to take the title from all of the fighters and start over," they could do that. They don't have to honor anything. They're under no obligation to anyone, to any champion, to any challenger. It's in their bylaws. It's crazy, bro. Thanks, Jose. Hey, listen, I wish everybody thought like that, but not everybody thinks like that. But yeah, um, you know what? I like this one. Hold on, I like this. I like this. Let's get that cock and draw out of there, and that way, when anybody else comes on here, they see this right here, and at least maybe that's it'll turn some people on to better things, for me. But yeah, so just do some research, people. Like if you know these people, like I said before, if anybody knows these folks, reach out to them and say, bro, Google is your best friend. Go to the WC website, read their bylaws, read, I mean, I didn't even have to read it. I just knew because they're a private business. I didn't have to look up their bylaws. I just know. They're a private business, son privados. Son una empresa privada. No tienen que hacer nada que no le dé la gana. They don't do any of that shit. No, listen, cuando Boots, 100%. 100%. Facts is facts that El Filósofo and Cesar Seda have credible sources and they are close to the horse's mouth, Team SUBRIEL Matias. Exactly. And I said it in the beginning since I was talking to myself for like the first half hour. Maybe I didn't hear it. And that's fine. Whatever. Whatever, como dice el filósofo. When it comes to the team, they're of course I see it. They laugh and they play together. They have fun together. Yeah, they're very close. So I think that's clouding their judgment, though. You see what I'm saying? Yo creo que por ellos estar tan cerca, le está como le dicen empañetando los pensamientos de ellos de la situación. Ellos están muy cerca. In my opinion, they're too close, right? They're too close to the situation. Um, the next video he talked about he was going to do January 10th the fight, and hopefully me too. I'm hoping to do a same video on the 10th. You know what I'm saying? But I think that they might be too close to the situation in this sense. But I think they view themselves as friends, and I think that's making them judge the situation in a different light. You know what I mean? Herbert, what are you asking? Like, it's applying media pressure? Like, are you saying that, like, us, the YouTubers, is applying pressure to the WBC to make the right decision? Or are you saying something else? Because, and that could work, if that's what you mean. Yeah, if enough people on Twitter and on Instagram and on YouTube, it somehow reaches Suleiman and they see the kind of pressure and maybe even, maybe Team Matias is speaking of like, yo, if you don't do for us like you did for Subriel or Valdez, we're gonna sue. Then you know what I'm saying? Boots, nobody believes your half-ass apology about you being disrespectful. Nobody believes it, and you might as well just have not even said that because it just I just yeah, that's not even no. No, nobody believes it. But anyway, yeah, no. What the hell was I even saying? Every time I read one of your comments, I fucking lose my train of thought. Uh, yeah. So I think. Oh, I know what I'm saying. Yeah. So Cesar said that maybe philosopher. I don't know about Authentico, Alex. But maybe they're too close, and their reporting is more biased towards them because they're friends, right? Maybe they feel like they have a friendship there, and in a way that's why if I ever get to any point like that where I may be approached by people, I don't want to get friendly with any one fighter, although it's tempting, because then like if he's my friend, then how do I report opposite, you know what I'm saying, or like the hard truth? That's why that's why I've been approached, not a lot, about some interviewing some young fighters, and no, it's not my thing. I do talk to some young prospects on Instagram via instant message and stuff like that, and I give them life advice or whatever it is, and I talk to them and I let me know your next fight so I can promote it, things of that nature. But I don't really want to become too friendly with them. It'll be cool. I could see you know, you because basically Subriel's a celebrity for us, right? So being his friend is kind of like being friends with a celebrity, and I get that, but then it could cloud how you report things, and I don't want that. Yo no quiero eso. Yeah, you tried. Yeah, no, el filósofo, yeah, he's close with Subriel. El filósofo siempre es, yo sí me di de cuenta. César siempre estaba con, sí, Team Puello. En realidad yo también estaba en esa noche. Yo pensé a lo último, que por un punto Puello le ganó a Subriel, pero no voy a pelear por un punto porque un punto puede cambiar, y si yo nada más lo tenía por un punto ganando, la posibilidad que yo tenga un error o hice un error en mi puntuaje, pues yo no lo voy a pelear. Yo acepté lo más bien que Subriel Matias se ganó. So, it was just how I was scoring it at the time. So I'm not going to fight over that. But you're right, though. Cesar is big team Salas. But I think that, but I still think that they're friends. I still think that they're friends. Yo creo que César te diría a ti o a mí que él es amigo con Subriel Matías. I think he will tell you that they're friends. I think he believes that. And I think it might be true. Y puede ser verdad. But, that's dangerous. Eso es peligroso al último del día because, if you're going to report on boxing and you're going to report on boxing truthfully, you can't be biased because one guy's Puerto Rican, or your friends, or he's from New York, or I meet a kid from Harlem, Spanish Harlem, and I got to rep Spanish Harlem, and only report the positive that comes from that fighter because he's from the same neighborhood as me. That is irresponsible, and I think that's the problem that I'm having. So to say that WBC has no voice is wrong. Decir que la CMB no puede decir que no le va a dar el título, que no puede quitarle el título a Matías, no es correcto. Eso es una mentira. Mentira y mentira y mentira. Like it is a lie. It is a straight up lie. But really, that's what I came on here to like rant about. You know, and I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping that we still get that fight. That we still get that fight in in January. I think we're gonna get that fight. I'm about 80% sure that fight happens. And if it happens, it'll have like I said, stipulations, testing after, thing like that. No, no, he listen. He has led the charge to put the pressure, like Herbert said. Cesar has led the charge with the pressure to make sure he's written letters, open letters to Mauricio, But to say that the fight is on and that the WBC has no say, that's wrong. That's wrong. Actually, that's counterintuitive. Entonces, porque si tú le dices a la CMB, tú no, la comisión dijo que sí, tú no tienes poder en nada. Ahora, todo ese trabajo que tú hiciste atrás para poder hacer que Subriel defendiera su título el 10 de enero, si Mauricio coge eso con malas intenciones, él va a decir, oh, yo no tengo voz, yo no puedo decir nada, pues cágate en tu madre y le quita el título. Porque tú le dijiste al dueño de la empresa que él no puede hacer eso. So it could backfire. You could, he could be like, hey, you ain't got no voice, you got to make the fight happen. And Mauricio goes, yeah, I ain't got no voice. With my own company, my own belt, I can't tell. You gonna tell me that I can't strip him because the New York State said that the fight should go on? I hold my beer, watch me do it, and then all that work you did on the back end goes to shit because you decided to say that the owner of a business has to adhere to a government they have no loyalty to. That's the problem I got. That's the problem I got. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem I got. Don't tell people that shit. Don't go telling people that the wrong information. This is why I like the matrimony between Philo and Cesar because Philo could be closer to his and Cesar going in on whoever. Yeah, yeah. Listen, I like them dudes. A mí me encantan sus programas. Yo los veo cuando, ¿sabes? Yo pueda. Siempre los busco. Siempre estoy consumiendo su contenido. I'm always, taking in their. This has nothing to do with me not liking them. I love their channels. Like I'm actually a fan. Like I watch their channels. I analyze what they say. I try to learn from them. Yo trato de aprender de ellos porque ellos están haciendo esto a un nivel más alto que yo por mucho más tiempo. So, yo diciendo que ellos hacen un trabajo malo todo el tiempo. No, eso no es la verdad. This is not the truth. They're not doing this wrong. They've been doing this for a long time on a higher level than I do it. And I learn from them every time I watch them. It's in this particular instance, though, they're wrong. That's it. En esto, ellos están mal. That's it. That's what I'm saying. And I would wish that they would be better when it comes to things like this. Y que busquen los datos, que busquen las noticias que han hecho de Valdés, ha hecho de Canelo, y comparen para que ellos tengan algo y formulen algo más comprensivo. Maybe they formulate more comprehensive thoughts, more comprehensive arguments about and present it to the public and say, even though the WBC can still pull the title from Subriel Matias, here's why they shouldn't. Because of the Valdez, because of the Canelo incident. And he should get treated the same way that they got treated. They didn't strip their titles. Clenbuterol, no strip of the title. Fetterman, they didn't take his title. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they could do the same for Subriel. And that's what I want. They could do the same thing for Subriel that they've done for Valdez and Canelo. If they don't, Yomi better get them lawyers. Because en los Estados Unidos hay algo que se llama, y no sé cómo decirlo en inglés, en español, te lo voy a decir en inglés. Cuando una compañía, when a company has set a precedence, right? Meaning they have had a situation more than once or more than once and have set a standard for that situation, and then a situation arises again and it goes differently than what you did over here, you can take them to court and say, hey, the WBC has a precedent set for allowing champions that have tested positive for drugs and still had their title intact and defended their title on the date that it was set for. And that I didn't get that chance, and here's my lawsuit. And they could win that. If it happens that way, I doubt it. I doubt it. Jose Olmo. So again, see if you look up on the comments, Jose, you will find who they're talking about. I haven't named them and said who said what, but Yeah, Herbert. Bingo. That's what Jose exactly. Rodriguez exactly. I need it from Suleiman. That's the only guy that matters right now. And back to Jose Olmo. Yo no te voy a decir quién me dijo, bueno, quién me respondió y dijo lo que dijo, pero si tú vas a los que hacen este deporte en español de Puerto Rico específicamente, tú vas a ver por las redes que ellos están diciendo que la pelea está en definitivamente bail, right, que ya está seteada y que la CMB, la WBC no tiene voz en esto y tiene que dejar la pelea y eso está mal. Eso no es así. La CMB es una empresa privada y no tiene que hacer nada que le diga la Comisión de Nueva York. Um, yeah, I mean, you know what's funny? So no, but that man, he said, but he's not Subriel's defense lawyer. Uh, yeah, Boots. God, Jesus Christ. Yes, we all know, we know that, but pressure bust pipes. I don't know if Cesar is big enough content creator to make things happen. I give you an example, and maybe Cesar's not there yet. Well, I know Cesar's not there yet, or Filosofo, or Auténtico, or any of the channels that I follow that are Spanish. Showbiz the adult, we all know who he is. Like him or hate him, I like him, but that's not the point. He's at the point of his career in YouTube. He can directly call Suleiman. He can directly actually talk to them via, on Twitter and on Instagram. He's done it before. Mauricio has been on his lives, just like you guys, talking, in the comment section. So he has influence. So yes, a content creator could have influence. It just depends on how big it is. I don't think Cesar has enough clout to move that needle for Mauricio. Or maybe he does, because maybe he knows him. I don't know. But in that case, that's the only thing that I would tell you, that he's trying his best with the audience he has, and but he's not a defense lawyer. Yeah, yo, you're stupid, Jose. Yeah, if yo, oh look, on 100%, Jose. If Subriel was a Chicano, órale, güey, te dijo que estuviera ahí peleando mañana. Órale, güey. He would have been in there, no problem. You know why? Check this out. Look, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read this for you real quick, right? So, um, in the Valdez case, right? Check it out. In the Valdez case, this is a perfect illustration of the WBC, right? Having stricter standard, but ultimately, deciding that to allow the fight, right? Imposing a WBC specific penalty, right? So here's what they did for Valdez. Oscar Valdez, super WBC super featherweight champion, Phenerine, an appetite suppressant, que eso le quita el apetito para perder peso. La comisión dijo de Pascua Yauqui Athletic Commission, la Pascua Yauqui Athletic Commission, diablo, qué puñeta. Anyway, the local commission confirmed it is commitment to allow the bout to take place. The defense was that Fetterman only prohibited in competition and the positive test was out. So le dijeron, la comisión dijo, no, 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 está bien, Marlet, tú estás limpio, vamos para allá, dale, que vamos para arriba, campeón. Pero la CMB dijo, espérate. The WBC conducted its own investigation through clean boxing program while acknowledging the commission's decision. The WBC's panel determined that the positive findings still represented a violation of its principles. So violó todavía las reglas de la CMB, Valdés. Ellos dijeron, no, no, no. La investigación dice que él todavía violó la regla de nosotros. Ok, ¿qué hizo ellos? The WBC says, did not pull the title and sanction the bout for the championship, but imposed a 12-month probationary period, mandatory nutrition programs, and required the champion to serve as WBC ambassador, threatening an indefinite suspension for any future violations. Si Valdez otra vez huele una droga, se jodió, supuestamente. Ok. So ahí tú ves que la CMB hace lo que le dan la gana con su título. Igualmente con Canelo. Recuerden, clenbuterol lo encontraron, es un anabolic igual que Ostarine. Entiendan. New York, the Nevada Commission said, ultimately, we're going to suspend you for 6 months. Lo suspendieron por 6 meses. Pequeña, tú sabes, suspensión, pero lo suspendieron. So 6 months, right? Here's what WBC said. The WBC conducted its own investigation was ultimately did not strip the title. Mauricio dijo, Canelo Alvarez cannot be found guilty of doping based on the trace levels consistent with contamination. It is maintained its own right to investigate and determine its position in the WBC Championship. So quiere decir que la comisión suspendió a Canelo. Pero la CMB lo dejó con el título. Porque dijo, no, 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 no. Canelito dijo que fue contaminado con una chuleta. Y bueno, yo le creo. ¿Entiende? So they could do whatever they want. The WBC could do whatever they want. That's it. Let me see. I missed some comments here because I was reading that shit. Jose Olmo, I know who they are, and they the same. You saying, well, Jose Olmo, I don't know if they're saying the same thing I'm saying. I think they're saying the opposite of what I'm saying. They're saying that it is official, that it's going, and that WBC can't do shit, which is all wrong. I understand he has more clout than Big. Every time that you make a crazy ass statement, Boots, I'm just gonna put it on the screen. How about that? I'm just saying. Coqui, ¿cómo está? Yeah, Coqui, he's cleared to fight. He's cleared to fight in January from the New York State Athletic Commission, but no official statement from the New York State Athletic Commission has been made. No actual reporter has reported on it as of right now that it's been cleared to fight. And also, it is up to the WBC, even if he's cleared to fight, whether or not they want to leave him as a champion. Because they're a private company. They could do whatever the hell they want. I just, that's why I read what I read off right here in the bylaws. They did with Canelo. The Nevada State Commission said to Canelo, you are dirty and you suspended. And Mauricio said, no, fue contaminación, bendito, dejado campeón. So you don't know what the hell they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what WBC is going to do. But you can't say that the WBC has to do what the commission says. Because if that was true, then it would have stripped Canelo, but they never did. They never did. And if that was true, they would have never put Valdez on a probationary period. The WBC put Valdez on a probation period. The commission said he was good to go. The commission in Mexico said, no, Valdez está bien. And Mauricio said, no, he not. He got to go on a 12-month probation. They're all over the place. They're all over the place, bro. WBC would cock block Matias and give people the title shot. So, wait, hold on. Let me see what Boots is saying because I have to read all of his shit because he's a special kind of guy. Trust says that he has way more clout than Big Eyes. He gets all the sanctioning bodies in his channel, all the great trainers as well. No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. What I said, Boots. That's why I said, maybe he knows them. While Showbiz has mass appeal and like a lot of online presence and a lot of following, he could apply pressure that way. Cesar might not have that audience, but he could be friends with Mauricio. I don't, at the end of the day, he could be like calling each other about soccer. I don't fucking know. Like that could happen, and Cesar could go, "Yo, my boy, like you let Canelo keep his title after computer roll. You even lowered the limits to keep that motherfucker on." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they literally lowered the limits to the threshold that they set. They lowered it so Canelo can keep the title. Like, if you don't do that shit for Matias, you're a hypocrite. Yo, gosh, yo, this man right here, bro. This man right here. I what I wanted to say, the New York almost came out of me, dog. Like I almost went like Wagner Projects, 122nd and first side on your ass, like this. Lord Jesus, but thank you for the $2. Koki. So let's talk what ifs, right? This is not real, guys. Not real. We're talking what ifs. You would think that if you had an interim champ in Pitbull and you were to strip Matias, that the Roach and Pitbull fight becomes for the full championship. But I've seen the WBC strip a champion and still keep the interim, and then order the number one, the mandatory, and another number one guy to fight. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. I would think that would be the right thing. If I'm a sanctioning body, if the boxing on rap sanctioning body and the boxing on rap title was up, the what would that be? The BUW, right? Right? The BUW title, and I have an interim and I have a champion. You know what? Some people say, why you have an interim when you have a healthy champion? Listen, I get it. Having an interim is really not that bad, right? Because I would use the interim almost like the number one challenger. And if something were to happen to my champion, I'll automatically go ahead and elevate the interim, right? That's what you use him for. But Mauricio use him however the hell he feel like it. Like it seems like it shit make no sense, bro. Shit makes no sense. The way Mauricio uses interim champions and how he disseminates who's the champion, quién es el campeón, el interino, y no hace senso común en ningún lado. Ah, para mí es fácil. Fácil. Anybody know what Polanco's doing? But anyway, does he have a fight? I don't know. Damn, EC game is mad as fuck. Listen, hold on. Let me put this dude. Let me listen. I love that $2 USD, but I'm gonna have to go here because EC Gamer, he is fucking pissed. Check this shit out. He said, deja de estar hablando muerda. Quiere decir mierda. Cardito, maybe carita, or I don't know what cardito means. Anybody knows, put it in the comments. De basura la pelea, vaya, infórmate. Papá, hijo mío, porque posiblemente yo puedo ser tu papá, no sé, porque no te puedo ver la carita por el retrato chiquito que tiene, pero déjame informarte de algo, pay. Te voy a hablar como mis primos en San Isidro me hablan a mí, pay. Mira, hijo de la gran, ven acá, no seas un bicho pelado, chequéate, la CMB no ha dicho nada, pay. La Comisión de Nueva York oficialmente no ha dicho nada todavía, mamabicho. ¿Ok? Lo que han dicho nada más son los que están cerca de Subriel Matías en decir que la pelea va para enero 10, pay. Pero nada ha estado oficial. No quiere decir que nos levanten mañana en la mañanita, pay, y diga la CMB que sí va. Eso es lo que pueden decir, que sí va. Y eso no es lo que yo estoy hablando, pendejo del diablo. Lo que yo estoy diciendo es, y entiende que ellos están diciendo que la CMB no tiene voz ninguna para negarle a Subriel el título. Y eso es error, porque sí, si se le salen los cojones, le pueden quitar el título a Subriel y dárselo a un gato en la calle, porque el título le pertenece a la CMB, no le pertenece a Subriel Matías. Eso es, ellos le están prestando ese título para representar la empresa que se llama el Consejo Mundial del Boxeo. ¿Me entendiste? Ya hay más problema, pay. Cálmate. Anyway, yo, yo, I mean, Boots, it's like, and I just went on a rant there. Easy Gamer, perdóname, pay. No, 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 tú es con chiste, tú es con chiste. No quiero, no quiero, tú es con chiste, pay, pero me sacaste de quicio un poco, tú sabes, pero me sacaste del San Isidro y bueno, pero cógelo con easy, que no es nada personal, pay, perdóname. Pero anyway, yo, fácil, fácil. Anybody know if Nah, bro, everybody, no, votarlo, no, no, bye, mira, espérate, primero que nada, todos están invitados aquí. Porque alguien tiene la opinión contra la mía, no quiere decir que no se lo pueden opinar. Ahora, si es algo de mi mai, de mi pai, vamos a tener problemas. Pero si estamos hablando de boxeo y de mí, que se joda, pai. Yo soy un viejo ya, pai, y eso a mí no me molesta. No me molesta. En realidad no me molesta. Hay algunos que le molestan, a mí no. A mí me han dicho de todo. They've told me everything, bro. That shit don't bother me. You got a difference of opinion, I'm not gonna ban you. Now you talk about my mama and shit like that, then we have a problem. But you know, about me, nah, I don't care. Um, yeah, Jose, that's where it is, Canóvana. Al ladito de Luis Aldea. Carolina está para arriba, Luis Aldea está para allá. Y bueno, espérate, tengo que, mi cámara se está moviendo. I'm not saying hi to you. I'm just, my camera starts moving if I lift up my hand, that shit starts tracking me. No. Bueno, Boots, yo creo que se fue porque yo no lo he visto más nada. No, pero no, si quiere regresar y quiere decirme más cosas, que lo venga y lo haga. Yo no lo voy a votar por eso. No, no, no. Que todos se sientan aquí en casa. Que se sientan en casa, que se sientan bien. Si me quieren decir mama bitch, que me quieren decir mera pendejo, esto y lo otro, vamos para encima. No. But yeah, San Isidro en Canóvanas, José. Yo nací en Río Piedra y me crié en parte en San Isidro. Fui a la escuela allá y todo. Ah, de Calle. Yeah, bro. Bro, listen. Bro, the thing is, I could listen. Well, you know, if you from the hood in New York, bro, you gotta know how to defend yourself physically and verbally. And so, you know, I went through my lunch periods, you know, getting snapped on and snapping back. I went through all that shit, bro. That shit don't bother me, bro. And I could make a dude cry if I wanted to. Um, but yeah, that's not it. But if you want to go, you know, that little contest, we could do that. Um, but yeah, no, no, no. So anyway, el interino de la CMB, yo no lo entiendo tampoco. Cómo lo usan, no lo entiendo. En realidad yo no he puesto atención a la AMB o la, como le dicen, la FIB. No, yo no le he puesto atención a ellos, cómo ellos están corriendo eso. Pero mi entendido es, when you have an interim champion, my understanding is, like, the way I understood it to be for years is that your champion gets hurt, violates the law, something happens where you got to take their title. Now, the title, back in the day, like way back in the day, they used to say the title is vacant and you can fight for a vacant title. Then the interim thing started becoming a thing in the mid 90s. And then what they would say is, okay, that guy is no longer the champion. And, or better example, so I don't confuse the shit out of everybody. But example, I'm the champion of the boxing on rap, you know, sanctioning body, and I hurt my ankle, and I'm the champ. What happens is they say it'll be 2 years, such a bad break, it'll be a year, let's say, that I'm gonna be out. But I got a mandatory. So they'll take the number one and number two and make an interim champ, right? Now that guy defends the interim championship for however long, whoever wins that fight. If I don't come back, that guy becomes the champion. Like if they go, yo, you got another 6 months. If you don't come back, we're gonna take the title from you. And that the interim becomes a champ. Now there's no more interim. There's just a champion. And then he continues. That's the way it's supposed to go. I think that's my understanding of it. The way they're using it now, they just what they're doing is they just get a lot of sanctioning fees because for every title that they have, super champion, diamond champion, Azteca champion, Manteca champion, docena de Jueye champion, they just go ahead and they give you like all these sanctioning fees to pay to be that champion. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? Where they give the actor that star, right? And they say, oh, he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? You know that you got to pay for that shit? They tell you got it, but on the low. Because if you say no, because you ain't paying for it, they don't give it to you. Same thing with the sanctioning bodies. They give it to you, but you got to pay. And tu fucking casa, fuck. Yo, that shit kills me when I hear Puerto Ricans say fucking. Yo, that shit is hilarious. That shit is hilarious. Yeah, Koki, we were talking about that shit a long time ago on a live during fights. Um, that you were from Fajardo, raised in the Bronx in '6. Cari duro. Listen, I got to New York in the mid '80s. It was a lovely time. It was a lovely time. Fucking. Mira, mi cara, tú eres un fucking cabrón. Un fucking model fucker. Mira, no sé, un model fucker. O como dice el filo, dice, whatever. Mira, whatever. Whatever. Yo, the whatever kills me every time. Whatever. Okay, está bien, pai. Whatever. Whatever. That shit. Yo, Coqui, I don't know, but I hate freestyle, bro. Like, I can respect it now because it brings back memories, but I hated freestyle. I hated freestyle. Oh, that and house music. House and freestyle? Oh my god, bro. That shit, Lord Jesus. I could not. I and it's kind of dope now. Like when I listen to freestyle, like I hear it, I'm like, because it bring back good memories of like 1980s Manhattan, like, bro. Like if anybody ever, I don't know who's left in the live, whatever. But if you, whatever. But if you were there in the '80s, it was such a different time, bro. It was crazy and it was fun as hell, bro. It was fun as hell, bro. Like I love the '80s in New York. It was some of the best times I ever had in my life living anywhere. I tell you, I got my heart broken a lot through. Bro, don't come bringing my life down, dog. With your sap stories about about oh my god about how girls they gave you that what is it the mixtape with the perfume on it. Is that what they did? They gave you the freestyle with the. Let me see right here. Yo, okay. You know what's crazy, Cookie? That's what I was saying about New York. I've been saying that my whole life. Hold on one second. Most because we are good. We are hands inside and outside the ring. We let them go when we need it. We made for this shit. Listen, I don't like getting punched in the face. I'll tell you straight out. If I could avoid a fight, I'm gonna avoid a fucking fight. I don't. I mean, I that's what I did in elementary school when I got to New York. I just got into fights all the time. I just got into fights all the time. It was like bad. Like I was fighting all the fucking time. Like that was what I was doing. I was fighting all the fucking time, bro. And it was like my mother was sick of that shit. Like she was sick. Um, we come to the point of this life. You know what? I'm gonna just do this shit. Listen, guys, and I don't care if you don't like it, you don't like the designs. I could give a shit less. I could give a shit less. But we're going to. I'm gonna show you this, and if you don't like it, it's okay. It's okay. Um, we're gonna get through it, and we're here. And okay, you see this right here? This is my store. It's linked all the time. You know, you could buy something. Look at that. Look at this fucking mug. Why wouldn't you want this mug? All I'm saying is why wouldn't you want this mug? Look at that. This mug is the shit. Why wouldn't you want that mug? Right? That's that. Like look at this. To be honest, this is like my favorite SUBRIEL sweater right here. Look, you can get it in black, you get it in blue, right there. Look, you can get it in. Well, I can't say SUBRIEL. Hold on. Latino boxer with blood splatter. I can't say SUBRIEL. I can't, I can't say SUBRIEL. Ellos se enfogonaron conmigo la última vez. La última vez, that I did this, they got mad at me. Um, so I can't, you know what I'm saying? Y este se parece a otro boxeador. No te voy a decir a quién. Um, pero tú sabes, por si acaso, you know. Look at all those colors. Look at all those. This right here is my favorite shit right here though. This should go hard like a motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what you say, what your mama say. This right here. So support me, goddammit. Okay? Because I'm a starving artist and I want my shit and all that stuff. That's my store. It's linked in every goddamn video. Please go. And maybe your friends like something. I don't know. Christmas is coming up. Give them something. Right there. Like it's no, it's right there. It's right here. You can go ahead and it's linked after the video. It's probably gonna be there. I didn't link it right now, so don't ask me where it is. But it's right there. So go get that. But yeah, what we were talking about, I lost my fucking train of thought because you guys. Hold on one second. Okay, let me see. That's what I said. Most of us. Yeah, listen. That's what you said. Most of us, because I'm one of those guys. Studio 54, Essos, Emerald City, the Underground, the Tunnel, the Red Zone, California. The Tunnel was wild, bro. In New York, the Tunnel. Listen, the t- I don't even. You know what was another one? The Palladium, the Limelight, uh, CBGB. I don't know if you rock with that crowd, but CBGBs. That was crazy. That was crazy. The Red Room. Remember the Red Room? Just throwing those out there. He said Bridgeport, Connecticut, bro. CT. BCT. Yo, you can't get no more like non-hood sounding. I never been to Bridgeport. I've been to Connecticut. I never been to Bridgeport. I don't think, but that shit don't sound like like Harlem. That shit sounds historic. Bridgeport, nah. Um, but yeah. So y'all saw like the store, right? Like, go get some. Like, just you know, I don't care, bro. Buy some. I got more designs to put up, but yeah. So that's what I was saying, guys. I think I'm pretty much done ranting. I'm off my soapbox. That's what I really wanted to say because it pissed me off that people are not being you know honest and or informed and informing people the right things. Uh, you gotta tienen que hacer mejor. Cuando están diciendo al público cosas, tienen que decirle las cosas correctas. No le pueden decir cosas que están, sabe, que son mala información. You just can't go around doing that to people. You gotta tell them the right information. You gotta let them know so that way they can stand there on their own 2 feet and say, okay, now I understand. Now, again, before I sign off, I think the fight happens. I think that it is all going to be fine for January 10th. But just again, the WBC, the WBA, WBO, the IBF, and the IBO. Now, nobody ever mentions the IBO, which, mind you, if there's any title you should actually support, it's the IBO, because the IBO has transparent pricing, has the better rankings. If you look at them, really, actually, um, and they're just a lot fair. Like literally, they're just the fairest governing body. So there's really five, but nobody cares about the IBO. I don't know why. They're really, actually, really good. Um, Yeah, that's the one. Not the red room. The Webster Hall on Union Square. So true story. We went out there and we got kind of like really, really happy about the night we were having, and we stole all their light bulbs from from their awning above. So le quitamos toda la bombilla. Las bombillas eran rojas. They were red light bulbs, and we took them all out. And then I had in my room, I would put a red light bulb on in my room. We tripping, and yeah, so that's what happened. CBGBs, that shit. It looked like there was AIDS on the wall. That's what I remember about CBGBs. Um, Judy Torres, yeah, Judy Torres, Coro, Lise Melendez, Win Sensation, Sapphire TKA. TKA was funny. Johnny O, Lil Susie, I don't know, but TKA, bro, stop it, Boots. You wildin', bro. You wild. I'm about to make a freestyle shirt, but y'all ain't gonna buy it anyway, so I ain't gonna fucking do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna do shit. Um, no, I'll do it anyway, just because I like to draw, and if somebody buys something, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. But I got kids, y'all. Just you know, a little money. I mean, you get something to wear, I get a little money back. It's a good transaction. I'm just saying. I know you know I can't think of all of them right now, but specifically. So that's what I said. The Palladium. The Palladium was right across the street from the train station, right there on Union Square. Around the corner from that was Webster Hall. We took the light bulbs. Um, and I think I forgot how far was the Limelight. And then in the village, if you remember, there was a comic book shop called Forbidden Planet, and you walk straight down. You got the Pussycat Club, and then there's another bar, La Linea, was down that way. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, what's up, Craig? I'm sure. Listen, hey, Boots. I'm sure that every fucking state that's preppy sounding got its hood. The Hamptons got a hood, bro. I live right near them. Webster Hall was wild though. They had so many good floors, good time. Yo, I'm telling you, we was having such a great time. We stole their light bulbs. That was, and that's pretty much what I remember from that night. Cause yeah, it was a night. I just let's leave it at that. How could I forget? What? Yeah, Boots, you forgot. Webster Hall, man. Listen, like I said, I went to school right there. So Washington Urban High School was right there. Wild ass high school. If anybody seen the show Fame, the intro was filmed in that lobby. That's the only high school that I ever knew that had like two elevators. The shit was huge. Had like a fucking. It had a middle open, like it had an open concept in the inside. It used to be an all girls school, and then they put a net. So if you threw somebody over, they wouldn't fall to the floor because they were throwing people over. Boost father panic and projects. What? Father panic. What? Oh lord. Oh lord. Now we are reminiscing on some next level shit. Um, but yeah, like I'm telling y'all, man, like I had so much fun. I had so much fun with New York and all that shit. Yo, you got some news, bro? Did they say something? Boots, no joda. ¿Dijeron algo o no dijeron algo? ¿Dónde está, puñeta? Dime. No me digas que esto y lo otro. ¿Dónde está? I'm going to the ring news, bro. Stop fucking playing with me, bro. Tell me where. Tell me where, bro. Don't tell me that is on and then I don't find it nowhere. You probably fucking with me. It ain't nowhere that I'm gonna find it. ¿Dónde está, Boots? Where is it, bro? I don't know. Now I gotta stay on because now I gotta see if you're lying. Like, and while you decide if you're gonna tell me you're lying or not, this is my store. Help a brother out, you know, in this venture, this entrepreneurship, not just YouTube, but as a starving artist. You can get stickers, look, tote bags. Um, look at all this good stuff. Look at that in yellow. That yellow shit pop off good. These pop off nice too. Stop playing with me. Look, nice. Look at that. Look at that blue. Like, parece un trompo azul. Look at that. Look at this, bro. Yeah, you just want. Yeah, you can wear my shit. Look right there. Look. Nice colors. But anyway, Boots, what are you talking about, bro? Jose, it's whatever it is when we run out of shit to talk about. Yo, Craig said breaking news: Dalton Smith is getting packed up. Yo, you stupid. Yo, I'm right there, bro. That's the new one. Yo, Craig got a spot on the screen. Who remembers that drag queen Nefertiti? Bro, Nefertiti was hilarious. Yo, oh man, hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Now that you brought, wait, hold on. I gotta find. Hold on. Now I got said Queen Nefertiti. I hated that bro. You stupid. Yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, right there. You see that? Look at that Pac-Man. Yo, that Pac-Man shirt is dope. Somebody should get that for somebody. Um, Boots, stop. I, whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever. I thought this shit was about. Listen, like I said, man, it is what it is. It turns into whatever the fuck it is at the end of the day. Listen, bro, Craig, leave the past in the past, bro. Just leave the past. Yo, I don't know if any of y'all remember, but I live right on First Ave and 122nd, closer to 118th, I think it was. Yeah, 118th, 17th. I don't know if any of you been around there, but there was a Mexican restaurant on the corner, 118th and First, and on the second floor, upstairs, there was a door that was lit up in pink plexiglass, and all the Mexican hookers used to be up there for years until they fucking raided that shit right before I left New York. For years, you just go up there, and it was just hookers all over the place. And I'm like, I used to pass by it all the time. Like, yo, how nobody know? Like, no cops, no like at night to look up, and like, shit, I could see it through the door. Hilarious. Y'all scaring me with that drag queen shit. Like, y'all really onto that drag queen conversation right about now. I'm just gonna keep um, telling you about my wonderful products that I have available to y'all right here. Um, you could pick all these colors right here. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, that's enough of that. Uh, but Christmas is coming, so you might want to pick up something. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Washington Irving? You remember that school, Boots? Yeah. Remember freshman day? Remember the last day of school where everybody cut day and we all go out to Rockaway Beach? Yo, it was the whole school, bro. It was like thousands of students, bro, just literally like locking down the train. Listen, it's only five of us in here talking mad shit about New York. I think it's time to go. I'm hungry. And I gotta wake up tomorrow and go to work. Hopefully I can be out Um, read it. Read what, bro? What are you talking about? What am I reading? What are you talking about, Boots? Boots, don't confuse me, bro. Did What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Read what, Boots? I, what are you saying? Bro, all I know, if you're talking to me, you said that the Jodienda Pelea is on, and then you didn't tell me where you got your source from. I don't know who you're talking to, and I'm kind of confused right now. And if you're saying that the fight is on, I need to know where you saw that shit at, so I could go and put it on here, and we could all go about our lives, and that's it. Like, what are we talking about? What are we actually saying? Read the whole what? What am I reading? I don't need. What am I reading? Oh, I missed it. But I say, yeah, that Jose here said the one I missed this one. Hold on. The one I most respect is the IBF because of the 10 pounds rehydration clause, no weight advantages. Yeah, I like the IBF. The IBF is they're also like shifty and shit, um, but the IBF does have that weight rehydration, which I like. I remember this dude, what was his name? Shit, Hitchens. He was all about fighting Subriel Matias for the IBF, and then all of a sudden he because of the heat rehydration, why would I fight you with the 10 pound this and that? He just started singing all kinds of shit. What was the name of the PJs? Who? What PJs? I lived in Wagner. Then it's Jeff Projects. Then it's Gaylord houses down the block. What was the other ones? There's some other shits down there. I forgot their name. Um, I don't know, bro. Listen, guys, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm hungry. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I work with old folks, and they're gonna be angry tomorrow. Hopefully, they let me out early so I could just be. Hey, listen, I might go on live tomorrow. Just FYI, might go on live. Maybe early though, like not during. Should I go like same time today, or should I go early, like in the afternoon, like 3, 4 o'clock? I don't know. I'll do something. It'll probably be a waste. Could probably nobody see it, but I don't know. Hopefully we get a Thanksgiving miracle and we get a response that the fight is going on for sure, and we can move on, and then all those other YouTube channels can actually report the right thing for once in their damn life. But anyway, guys, listen, bro, I'm out. Thank you. It's always fun, even though it's by the end of it all, it's just five of us in here talking about New York, and it always ends up that way. I wouldn't have it any other way. F everybody else if they don't like it. But I do enjoy the other people, and I thank them for showing up and talking boxing while I ranted about why people keep putting out misinformation. That was the cheeky boom booms. Yo, yes, yes, it was Boots. Yes, it was. I'll find it on next time we on. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it up on screen for y'all to see because it's hilarious. But anyway, guys, thank you for showing up. I'm out of here. I'm gonna eat some. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna eat, but then I gotta go to bed early. But anyway, all right, guys. See you maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably get on tomorrow. Probably none of y'all gonna be on.